Hello everybody and welcome to In My Mug, episode 115 on Monday the 24th of January 2011. My name is Steve Layton and I like coffee more than custard creams. Anyway, settle in. This is going to be a long one. Do apologise. I know that I've been doing this sharper, shorter format, but today's coffee is going to need a little bit of time, I think. Sad thing about this week's coffee is that we can only do it once a year, and for me it's one of the biggest, most important coffees that we stock at Has Been, and I know that it's one that lots of people who will be watching this absolutely adore, so it's very, very cool to see it back. It's from Bolivia. It's called Finca Machacamarca de Berengula. The farm is owned by Mario and Lupe Andrade, who are a brother and sister, and the farm has been in the family for over 100 years, and it has been a very important part of the Andrade family makeup, if you like. It's been a big part in their life. Both Mario and Lupe have been very successful in their chosen fields. Mario worked in the oil industry as a consultant, spent a lot of time in Texas, working in the oil industry. Lupe, like her father, was a politician, and for many, many years she was elected the mayor of La Paz for a short amount of time in a very difficult country where politics is kind of very important. But the farm remained the hub. It became the part where the family came back together, and not just the brother and sister, but the extended family, so children, grandparents, godchildren, all the grandchildren, that kind of thing. While I was there last time, there was Lupe's daughter, son, granddaughter, all stopping on the farm, and that was quite normal. So it's very important for the family. The farm is based in Sudungas region of Bolivia, which is near to the town of Chulamani. Time for a little bit of a graphic to come on the screen there to show you that. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I will. We found this coffee first of all back in 2007. I know lots of you will have heard this story, but I am going to go through it again from the Cup of Excellence programme. It kind of goes, the story goes that I was on the jury for this year. I think it was 2007. Everything gets a bit hazy. 2007, 2008. And cupped this coffee twice. Absolutely adored it, but because of the way the competition is put together, you don't get to know which coffee it is or what lot number it is. But there were two coffees that really stood out to me quite distinctively in the whole competition. So yeah, that was the initial part of it. Then on the Friday afternoon, you get a chance after all the cupping's been done to meet the farmers that are coming to the presentation evening. So you sit down and basically talk about what they expect, what you expect, what you've thought of the coffees. But I was not very good. They managed to put in the hottest building in the world, glass roof, completely opposite to here actually, warm. So yeah, they put in this warm room, and I'm not really built for heat. So I goes and sits outside. This guy comes out chomping on a pipe and can see that I'm fading, and he's kind of like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I felt better." So he dived off and he came back with an icy cold bottle of water. And honestly, I remember it to this day. It's one of the best gifts I've ever been given. So we end up chatting, we exchange business cards, kind of go our separate ways. And then after the presentation, Mario gets this certificate and he says, "Can we have a photo?" So we have a photograph together. I thought it was really cool, really liked the guy. Went our separate ways. I get home, checking my email as soon as I get back, and there's an email from this guy, Mario Andrade, just asking, I hope I got back okay, telling me that he'd done well in the competition. He'd got through to the auction stages, which I thought was so exciting. So gets my cupping scores out, tries to find his coffee. Fate decided that it was the coffee that I'd given this really high score to the two times I've cupped it. So ever since then, we made sure we got it at the auction, and we've made sure we've got it ever since. Since found out that at the time they had no market for the coffee, so the coffee actually wasn't being picked. It was hitting the floor, wasted, using a little bit for the house. So not only are we the world exclusive buyer of this coffee, that we buy every bean on the farm, but you know, we've been the only buyer of this coffee on the farm. So I think that's super exciting. This year I was lucky enough to go out and spend a whole week on the farm picking sorting, processing, and had the best time, like the best time with Mario and Lupi, and become really good friends, and we exchanged lots of emails, and I'm sure they'll find time to watch this, I hope. So, a few numbers about the farm. Bolivia, Machacamarca, in the Sud-Yungas region. Farm size is 67 hectares, so it's a very, very big farm, but only 5 hectares of the farm are coffee. The rest are oranges and things like that. Altitude is 1,790. It's 80% Typica, 20% Caturra. Washed, but not your normal washed. We talked about this last week, but for those who missed it, this gets washed, it gets pulped, then it gets put through the pulper again to remove the mucilage, then left on drying tables to dry. So it's a little bit different. So I'm going to wipe you on pause. I'm going to go and fetch the drinks. I should be back in just a second, but I am going to bore you. I did a video while I was on the farm last time, and about 150 people have ever watched it. So I'm going to put it in the break now. This is a football game that Lupi organised with the local community. So it was Machacamarca against the local community in honour of my visit there, which I thought was just amazing. And I love this video. It's my favourite video I've ever made. So if you don't want to watch it, just fast forward, and please do come back and we'll talk about the coffee.
Yeah, he thinks he's won, see, but he hasn't even started yet.
Has been, you used to be something.
We'll continue when the game actually starts.
But now you're not. Try to remember when it started to happen. The way it was then. It's not that way now.
That was a hand penalty if I ever saw one.
But you can hold your head high. At least you once had a life.
Good try, good try.
Has been just one of many. Has been
Good try, good try.
for all your life. Try to remember when it started to happen. The way it was then. It's not that way now. But you can hold your head high. At least you once had a life. And not just one of those guys. Some dude hanging out in outer space has been.
Here's the Shakespeare.
He's thrown his last pie in this town.
Has been implies failure, not so. Has been's history. Has been was. Has been might again.
Right, so I'm back. As we've been doing with the format, I have an espresso, I have cappuccino, and I have brewed coffee. I'm going to dive straight into the espresso though, because we don't want it going cold. I like my espresso hot. Yeah, this is really unfair me doing this coffee because I just do love it so much, but you can smell the sweetness coming off this. It's caramel, it's chocolate, it's smooth, it's perfectly balanced. That to me is coffee perfection. I think that is an amazing espresso. You get like a real maltiness on there as well, and the aftertaste. It's kind of, it's delicious. It's big, and And I mean, I know that this coffee changes as it cools. And a lot of coffees do, but normally for the worst. This doesn't. Yeah, it's remarkable. It is a remarkable, remarkable coffee. Now to milk. Now, I recall a time where I had this. The best cappuccino I've ever had in my life was with Machacamarca. It was just a phenomenal moment, so. Now that's the first milk drink I've had of current crop because I've been drinking it all brewed. And it is stunning. I mean, it is just absolutely stunning. But it changes from the espresso. It's not that caramelly kind of chocolate fest, which is there, but it turns into, and this is the best descriptor I can come up to, as if somebody's mashed up a donut in there. So it's super sweet. It's got a lovely kind of sticky texture to it. It's phenomenal. It really, really is phenomenal. So now we've tried those two, I'm going to pour the brewed. Firstly, before I do that, I'm just going to show you the mug. In fact, I'll show you a little separate video clip of this mug. Very, very kindly donated to me by Alex Redgate, who is competing on Tuesday in the South East Barista Heat. So good luck with that one, mate. And everybody who's competing, good luck. But this is absolutely amazing. It's from Boss Bean on Kicker. And Alex's generosity is very much appreciated. Thank you. It's an absolutely beautiful gift, and I'm much appreciated. Much appreciated. So I'm going to show you the roast colour. You'll see from this, it's for me a medium roast, perhaps a little lighter than what we did last week. That's because there's so much sweetness, and you want that sweetness to come through. You don't want kind of earthy, roasty flavours coming through, and it is very sensitive to that. The profile for it is it's a very slow, kind of almost dragged out roast time from start to finish. You want to kind of keep it slow and keep it developing, but also keeping control of it. So yeah, that's that there. Now I made a Chemex of this on Thursday when it arrived. It was around about 3 minutes out the roaster, and I think I put a tweet out just saying that's the best coffee I've had in 6 months. It was truly phenomenal. I'm not going to give you any brewing parameters for brewed coffee, just because you can't mess this coffee up. It's very, very, very difficult to get it messed up. Sometimes you're getting better than others, but standard 60 gram per litre kind of stuff, and play around from there. And it does change as you move it around, but it's very, very good cook. I mean, just caramel. There's more acidity than there was in both the espresso and cappuccino. The acidity reminds me very much of like a white grape acidity, so it's kind of sweet, a sweet acidity. It's got that there. There's caramel. There's dark chocolate. Dark chocolate all over the back end of it. Caramel, just sweet. It's sweet, sweet, sweet. A little bit of toffee as well. You don't always get the toffee, but there's beautiful toffee coming through in this one. So, to recap, espresso, very, very good, very, very kind of sweet, rich, bold. Cappuccino changes a little bit, changes into much more of a donut style of coffee. And then as brewed, you get much more acidity coming through than you did in the other two. It's not overpowering, it's perfectly in balance, but there's definitely more of that there, and you get a little bit more dark chocolate than you do perhaps on those two. So, I would normally wrap up now. Sorry, the big pause. Not wrap up now, but we're going to go to our 3 things to remember about this coffee. But before I do, I'm just going to pop a little link below for those who are interested in kind of what we do here and to see a little bit more of the roastery that you can see behind me. Oh yeah, for John who emailed me last week, I did email you back, but no, it isn't green screen. That's really the roastery behind me. I'm sitting on top of my office in the roastery, so yeah. We've done some wholesale videos, links below, do have a look at them. I'm very, very proud of them. I think they're really cool, and yeah, but I will be back in just a moment with the 3 things to remember about this coffee. So, there's 3 things you need to know about this coffee. First of all, it comes with a relationship from the Cup of Excellence programme, and I think that that's what the Cup of Excellence should all be about, a chance for roasters to meet growers and growers to meet roasters and to build those relationships. So that's one thing I'm really proud about this coffee. You know, it's great that we've been able to do that. Second point I want you to remember about it, it's a very special cappuccino coffee. Not that all the other methods weren't amazing, but as a cappuccino, that's like my favourite cappuccino ever. So, yeah, definitely drinks as a cappa. And number 3, cup profile is super sweet, dark chocolate, caramel, a little bit of milk chocolate and white grape. Listen, thank you ever so much for joining me. I hope you're still enjoying this new format. I'm still playing. This is a bit of my hobby as well, kind of doing these videos, so hope you don't mind me playing about with them a little bit. And do remember, life is too short for bad coffee. And oh my God, is Bolivian Machacamarca a great coffee.